Okay, over to you. You're on the spotlight.
Hello, I'm Dan Rochon, and I'm on the spotlight. I wrote a book called Teach to Sell: Why Top Salespeople Never Sell and What They Do Instead, which will be published on June 23rd of 2026, and it's going to be distributed by Simon& Schuster and published by Post Hill Press. And I wrote this book because I got into sales as a young man, 32 years old, after recovering from alcoholism and becoming sober, and knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, knowing that I wanted to be somebody to help people achieve their goals, to be able to solve their problems. And at the time, I was waiting tables. It was a great restaurant I was waiting tables at. It was, made a ton of money. It was in Washington, D.C. That's where all the celebrities came. One of the best steakhouses in the world. And I hated my job, but I didn't see a pathway. I didn't see a pathway to become an entrepreneur. I didn't see a pathway to success. Yet I took an action anyway. So I studied. I said, okay, well, what are my options? What can I do as an entrepreneur, as a business person? And I met with different people, and I found different venues, and all of them wanted like $250,000 to $500,000 just to start to be a franchisee. And I didn't have $250,000 as a waiter. And so I became a real estate agent. And my first 6 months in sales, I had zero sales. It was really a struggle. And it wasn't until I really discovered that I could, instead of being a sales professional, instead of being salesy, I could instead become a trusted resource. And I started to document what I did to be able to be that trusted resource, which really turned into what I call Teach to Sell. And so Teach to Sell is the book that I authored, that it helps business owners, especially in real estate, but in all different, venues, to be able to achieve consistent and predictable income by mastering the art of leading rather than selling. Because whether if you're in the business of selling books or marketing or plumbing or whatever the case may be, you're still going to find resistance from your clients. You're going to find low conversions. Oftentimes, you're going to find inconsistent income. And as you go through those, you often can have financial instability, lack of predictable income. And, often we doubt ourselves. We're afraid of, like, do I even have the right pathway? Well, in the book, I go through four pillars of what any entrepreneur, whatever any business owner needs to be able to discover, which starts with their belief. So once you understand, and I give you tangible, like A, B, C, do these actions, and you'll have the opportunity to be able to believe in yourself. Actions like I describe in the self-coaching model, which is that your circumstance, that you benefit from your circumstance, or you perceive your circumstance through your senses. And then once you perceive it through your senses, you give it meaning. You give it meaning based off your history, your education, your background, your beliefs. And then you go through things that are taught in neuro-linguistic programming, such as generalization and distortions, deletions, to finally assign whatever you're perceiving through your circumstance, to assign it meaning. Now, one thing to consider is that we're only aware of 40 to 50 bits of data at any given instance out of 11.2 million options. So, because of that, us as human beings, we have a very finite, a very, very small little speck in the sand of an opportunity to be able to give meaning to things based off of our experience. So going back to the self-coaching model, which I explain and teach to sell, is one of the examples, is that you observe life through your circumstances, and then you have a thought about it. That thought is then going to give you a feeling. The feeling is then going to generate an action, and then the action is going to generate a result, and then that result goes back into your circumstance. So it's a circle. It's a cyclical cycle of circumstance to thoughts to feelings to actions to results. To be able to hack into that, I give you actionable steps within the book, and every single step of the book is an ABC. Follow this, and you get a result. I just gave you one brief example. So, the first pillar is belief. The second pillar is to be able to understand how you can find business to you. And then the third pillar is to how to be able to get the support that you need to be able to have the systems in place, the people in place, etc. And then finally, the fourth pillar that I go through and teach to sell is to understand how to be a leader. And my definition of leadership is to be able to teach somebody else how to think so that they can get what they want. And those are the four pillars of the book. Now, I go through the book in a hero's journey where the hero of the book is the reader. The villain of the book is the idea that you're not worthy, because we all have those limiting beliefs within ourselves. We all have that, man, am I good enough to do this? Man, do I have the time? Am I too old? Am I too young? And those beliefs, they permeate inside of us, inside ourselves, not just our brains. And so the villain of the story of Teach to Sell is not good enough. And the hero is you, the reader, and the guide is the book. So I invite for you to get a copy. It's in pre-sale right now. You can go to www.teachtosellbook.com. That's teachtosellbook.com, and I'll give you $10,000 of free training when you get the book. Thank you for listening to my talk.
Dan, are you able to come back at 7 o'clock? Because we have entrepreneurs that would love to learn about the sales aspect, or you can do it next month.
Maybe next month. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. All right, no problem. I just wanted to throw that out there.